Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTube. Hello, friends. Hello, family. Hello, social media peoples. Hello, you, the person right there watching us. Thank you for tuning into
The
the
Mobility
Mobility Bros.
Bros.
I'm here with my boy Ron Hylton, the hostess with the mostest, the energy god. And my name is Coach Clif Joseph, and we are the Mobility Bros. We are here to talk about athletic mindset, human mobility, pain reduction, pain management, the thought process of practitioners, the mindset of our clients and members. Mobility Bros, we are a show that we interview influencers, fitness businesses, current and past athletes who also are working in the industry in some way, to talk about overall wellness, whether it's wellness with running. We had a person on that was designing bras to make running easier, or kettlebell
Giveaway.
expert. We've had a few, yeah, we did. We had a few kettlebell experts on the show, doctors, physicians, nutritionists, and ourselves. So thank you so much for tuning into the Mobility Bros. We appreciate you, and we do this every single week. So we drop episodes every Monday. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. And it helps us get up there in the algorithm and get to share with more people. So thank you so much, Ron. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing super fantastic. Just starting my day out. Did some reading. Probably gonna finish up what I was reading and then get after it today, man. I got a couple of things I gotta look at on my calendar, but ready to get rock and roll with Mobility Bros.
Beautiful, beautiful. And before we get into the topic of today, we would like to thank our sponsors, Be Legendary Athletic Apparel. If you're looking for some athletic wear, and you want something that has really great saying, really great meaning, and you want to support our channel, check out Ron Hilton. That's one of the biggest shirts he's got selling out right now. And he's got sweaters, you got hoodies. What else you got?
I got hoodies, hats, t-shirts. Now we're kind of getting into the spring and summer season, so hoodies are gonna start phasing out. I'm probably gonna start adding in some book bags, which I never had, and some water bottles for the summer. So be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. New merch coming through, new merch coming through. And also thank you for our sponsor, Fitness Essentials. If you're looking for a program design for your fitness program, if you're looking to work with a fitness professional and a nutritionist, if you're looking for online personal training that is live training that you can schedule, if you're looking for small group training in the Bridgewater, New Jersey area, Warren, New Jersey area, all those ways you can connect with Fitness Essentials. They're an amazing fitness and wellness organization. They do the five checkpoint method, which is a method that allows them to communicate with their clients and get their clients moving properly without injury. And they work with many ages, really focusing right now on kind of the people we're going to be talking about today, 55 to 80-year-old population. So, with that being said, let's get to the show. What is the topic of today that we're going to be discussing, my
The
friend?
topic today is working with the elderly and getting them functional and getting them moving. I feel like when people get over the age of 70, there's this population where they start doing like they get all like this and start moving slow. And then there are some people over 70 that are just you don't even know. I have a client right now. She just turned 80 and she is absolutely beautiful. Like she moves, she works out, she trains, she does yoga. She's like, I can't go. She's like, I can't go to chair yoga. She's like, they move too slow.
Mm,
She's
mm.
outside mowing her lawn, doing gardening and you know raking leaves and putting piles of leaves on a tarp and like back walking them out.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
So and it's different. Like I saw a guy on Instagram, 90 years old. He deadlifted 405 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, so he still has
Impressive.
that strength and mobility. So, but I would say there's that it's just that small population of people who, once they get older, um, some of them keep in great shape, and then some of them just don't. I don't know what I honestly don't know what that is. I kind of feel like, and maybe you might agree with this, Cliff. I feel like what how you what you do when you're young does affect you when you get old.
I
So,
do believe that. I believe that,
um,
especially when it comes down to like injuries. Like if you had an old sports injury, right? Let's say you've had an old sports injury in high school. Now you're 70 years old and you're getting a knee replacement because that injury has caused you to walk oddly for, 30, 40 years, and then the meniscus went and things like that. And so there's things that if you don't take care of early on, it definitely can become a problem later. I
absolutely,
also think like the mindset of someone who understands that fitness is a lifelong journey and that you're always going to be finding yourself, doing some type of thing. Maybe you're not always back in the gym, but if you're not riding a bike, like you were talking about your old man, right? He used to ride a bike all the time. If you're not
yeah,
riding a bike, swimming, staying active, doing active things,
absolutely,
hiking, walking, a minimum of 10,000 steps a day. If you're not eating well, if you just continue to refuse to, learn more about your nutrition to see if you need to change your diet or if you have bad habits that you've had as a child that you grew up with. And bad meaning really just unhealthy habits. And you take that into your adult life, you're going to have obesity and high blood pressure and hypertension and things like that. 100% I agree with that.
absolutely, and I think there's that population where, um, when they get old, they rely way too much on their doctors. And I have to say that, I really have to put that out there. And I love my doc. I love the medical industry. And when we need something from them, but there's also that point in the medical industry where I feel like, um, because they're because there's that elderly population that are so dependable on them that they'll just keep treating them however, versus saying, hey, maybe you should change your diet. Maybe you should work on some exercise. Why don't we just why don't we switch gears and look at a way that we can get you healthy versus, keep on giving you this medication or that to get rid of this, and I do believe that, when it comes down to us as fitness professionals, it's our responsibility to educate those people. I had a gentleman, shout out to my long-term client, Randy Climates. I know he will ever get on here because he's old school, right? He was a hotel owner here in the area. And he was a long-term client of mine. I think I started with him in his late 60s, mid 60s, and he trained with me for 10 years.
Wow.
And I remember getting him to a point where he couldn't do burpees. In his 70s, he was actually doing not full burpees, but I got him to get up to the floor and stand up, do squat jumps, or I got him doing push. Like I got him so moving that he was able to,
Do
um,
power movement.
yeah, he was able to keep up with some of my 30-year-olds. One in
Wow.
his 70s. Like he trained with me 2, 3 times a week. Saw me for massage once a week. I mean, he was really, really active. Um, so it's just, every I think over time just educating them on what to do, and then there's that other population where you really got to take your time and focus on doing low packing exercises. um, really just watch them, like really watch them move first, and then seeing um, how you can work with them. And I remember when I first started as a personal trainer, one of my first clients was in his 70s, and crazy enough, this gentleman, he said he never was able to do a push-up in his entire life.
Mm,
I was like, not even when you were 25, like that. For me, like if you're, I don't care how weak of a man you are,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
should be able to do at least a couple of push-ups. And he didn't believe I can get him to do push-ups. And I started him out with just doing slow push-ups against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
We did that forever. And then we
Mm-hmm.
went from wall to a weight bench. So got him down. We did that forever. Then we went from a weight bench to, I would wrap up, I would do put a couple of yoga mats down,
Yes.
and I would have him activate his core and do what we call girl push-ups.
The kneeling push-ups, modified
Yeah,
push-ups. Yeah.
modified push-ups, I guess. Yeah, the modified push-ups. We did
Yeah.
that forever. And then when I was confident enough, I had him bang out like 15 push-ups and he regular push-ups. He was like, I would have never believed you. Never believed you that I could do it. So,
Wow. What an
uh,
amazing story. Yeah, that's empowering. I mean, it's important to do a couple of key things that you mentioned. One, look at how they move before you start exercising with them. Like don't go into it predetermining what you're gonna do from, a write-up or from the par Q part of the assessment. You have to see like how are they moving on the treadmill, what are their range of motion, like maybe do a functional movement assessment,
absolutely.
corrective exercise movement assessment, see if they have any old injuries, get their history because there's so much life that has happened between 25 and 65, 75 years old. If you don't have that information, you are doing a disservice, I think. I have a client right now that I've been training since, 2020, 2021, and we've been doing virtual training, and he's in his later 70s or earlier 70s. He has a full gym in his house so
Oh,
we can
wow.
do it from his basement, right? And his old trainer was doing like a lot of CrossFit stuff with him, beating him up a little bit too much, I think. So we started doing balance and corrective exercise stuff, and we did that for a really long time to make sure his balance was strong. We did some stuff for his back, and there'd be workout days where, his back would just be flared up, right? And so we'd have to take a different approach. We couldn't go into a lot of balance and stability with a flared up back 'cause it just, makes things worse when you're unstable, right? So then we go into like a mobility training, stretching, really working on loosening up things, and that. And he would reach out and say he feels great, and I feel like, there's a certain outcome I want personally from my clients and my business, what I want for my business to get from my clients, and it's not leaving the gym feeling worse. You
Yeah,
know, I don't want
yeah.
people being like, "Oh
For
my God,
anybody.
I just got destroyed and I feel like crap." I
Yeah,
want them to be like, "Oh, I feel so much better. I've learned something about my body. I realized that I'm capable of doing something extraordinarily difficult even when I was younger. I am tired. I do feel sore. I do feel my muscles working, but I don't feel like crap, right?
right,
Because I'm not trying, like most of 99.9% of my clients are not looking to put on hypertrophy at that age. They're not looking to bulk up at that age. They're really looking for stability, core
yeah,
strength, and like weight management, either not losing the weight, not getting the round stomach because of, cortisol levels or whatever, or losing some weight because their knees hurts, their joints hurts, they need to go down. But I haven't found a male or a female come to me in that age range, 60, 70, 80, being like, yo, bro, bulk me up. I want to get big. Like, you know what I mean?
boom, boom, boom,
So
boom, 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 boom.
so I also keep that in mind with the workouts, you know what I mean? I really try to make sure people feel stable and strong and confident, feel like they're not gonna fall when they're walking. And some of my clients need more care, more table work. So we'll do like a table work one day and then a strength program another day. Some of my clients are preparing for hip surgery right now.
Yeah.
So it's like
Oh,
stretching, mobility,
yeah,
pain reduction work one day, and then strengthening, getting the body prepared, dropping the weight so it's easier to recover from surgery in 6 months the next day. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
hopefully they're keeping up what they need to keep up with, and I get to track them with all their because they're technologically savvy now. They have their iPhone watches, and they may not know exactly how to use it. They may need more help, but if you get that, ring thing going with them and the steps thing going with them, they could share that information with you. And you can see if your clients in their 70s or 80s are getting their steps and closing their rings and stuff like that as well. So that's kind of my approach to seeing what's going on with a client at that age.
Yeah, that's you said something important, working on stability. I think when people get as they get older, there's some client, and I see it in the chiropractic office. Working in the chiropractic office a couple days a week. Some of the elderly community going in, and for some reason, it's like their footing and their stability's off, right? So Um, and we have great chiropractic docs that see that, right? So they'll work. They're not just in there just to make the adjustments. They're actually helping them, correcting their hips, correcting their stability, actually seeing their gait.
Mm,
So that's important to get that going because at the end of the day, when they're older like that, they just want to get functional. I remember I had years ago. Um, I had this. Uh, I had a coworker hire me to work on her dad and his girlfriend,
mm,
and I was going up to their house every Sunday, and her dad was 80 years old.
mm.
His girlfriend was like 63, like robbing robbing the cradle a little bit. But this dude, he was a beast, right?
Yes.
He had double hip replacements, but
Mm,
let me tell you, he was freaking strong. Like
yeah.
he'd pull up to his house, he'd be out there swinging an axe, like splicing wood. Like he was out there just doing it, and he was just a little
Wow.
taller than me. But I was talking to his daughter, and his daughter was like, "Yeah, he said when he was in his heyday, he was like 6'1", and he said I remember a guy got into his face, and he said he picked him up." And he said it was like a little coat hanger. He picked him up, squeezed him, put him on a coat hanger, and left him there. I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." She said it was the funniest thing I ever saw. I said,
Oh, it sounds
he
like
said yeah. He said he was just like he was just like a brute, right?
yo.
He was always like he was a physical person his whole life.
Mm,
So
mm.
um, but yeah, I mean that's important. And so just some key points I would say. Working with someone that has lack of mobility and functionality when they're over 70. Some key points would be focus on stability.
Yes.
Um, Another key point is maybe focus on doing some like resistance band training. So maybe not necessarily doing heavyweight training, maybe some resistance band training. Um, Maybe get him on an extension machine where you're just doing light work, just
Mm,
light work. Just so you want to find some very low pack exercises that are going to work. Where, like you said, you don't want somebody to be 7 years old. You'd be like, "Oh man, I'm here. We're gonna smash it today. We're gonna crush it." No, they may have like osteoporosis or something.
exactly.
They may have some bone deficiency where you know you're not gonna make them lift 35 pounds and do multiple reps. I mean, that ain't gonna work, dude. Like,
No, not unless that's something that like not all 78-year-old people are created equal, like we were talking, right? Like you
yes,
have a group of 70-year-old people that will go into the gym and destroy you. And they are hype and they're excited and they've been doing this and they want their body to stay as young and as strong as possible and they're fighting against their age and God bless them. I hope they don't blow anything out, but they will push themselves.
yeah,
Then you have another population, like you said, that if you were to ever go in there rah 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 and you would intimidate the crap out of them because they may not have that same experience in the gym and they may have been forced to go there because of their doctor and now they're trying to figure this thing out and they got some young guy being like you can do a handstand like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know please be aware. I think we talked about this in our episodes way back in like the 20th episode. Make sure your ego and as the practitioner
shut
doesn't
the freaking door.
over exactly doesn't overshadow what the need is from the client, what their expectation is for you and for them, what they really want, what their passion is about it. Like find those things when you're dealing with your elderly clients because some clients need that. I could tell that some things like were getting stale with my client. I could tell that they were getting upset about the hip pain that they were in. They never wanted to use a walker. Now they're like using the walker. And so I put on some good music. And after we did some seated rows, I was like, all right, we're gonna do some chair cardio. And I just did some chair cardio. And you know what? It made them smile. They loved the music. They had a great time. They worked out and sweated a little bit. It was different than what we were doing before, but I could feel like they need a pick me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Summer's
yeah,
coming, and they've been working hard. They've been doing the nutrition thing. They've been dropping the pounds and keeping the weight off. Not as fast as anyone, not as fast as they want to, but it's going in the right direction. And I don't want them to feel deterred because of this hip situation, right?
Right.
So that's where the trainer, the coach, the practitioner needs to take on like, all right, I've been working with this client for a couple of years. I've watched them go from 70 to 74. I know that they're strong, but their strength is starting to wane. I could see it in based on our history together. What do I need to do to keep them engaged, not make them give up and have a good time? And sometimes those are the things that matter, those are the things that
Absolutely.
are important.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Like I said, like you're correct. You got to keep check your ego at the door. And especially when you're working with the elderly, especially when you're working with the elderly, right? They want to
Hmm.
see, that you really care and that you're there to be of service to them. And and a lot of with the elderly community, they come from that background of understanding of what it is to for people to serve them, and
Hmm.
to give that service back, and to help. It's just different. Well, I was watching an interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
He's 70, I think he's like 75,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
amazing.
and
Oh, crazy life.
so they asked the question was, why do you're 75 years old, why do you still keep working out? You've been what, think 5 or 6 time Mr. Olympia. You've done movies, you've done it all. Why do you still work out? He was like, exercise is like breathing. It's like breathing to me. It's like you don't stop breathing, right?
Yeah,
You just gotta keep going, right?
yeah.
He's got a what I call it, I guess I think they're called fat bikes or something like that. Bicycles with the big massive wheels on them.
Mm,
He has one of those, and he rides around freaking California all day with that. Like he goes to Muscle Beach. He's hanging out. He's getting his reps in. Like it's a lifestyle for him. It's a way of life, way of living.
yeah.
So for some people, it's just like that. I mean, obviously he's a different animal because he's been this high level fitness professional his whole life. But and then I was talking to another client I was working on. Was it this past weekend, and she was talking about her husband, and she was saying how her husband was a builder, right? He was huge into building and stuff like that. I believe that they're in their 70s,
Mm,
and now he's on a walker, kind of wheelchair bound,
mm,
and she said that um he's supposed to be going to the gym every day and working out, and he absolutely hates it.
mm.
Because he was this active person. He was this person that was always into building and stuff like that. So, but it could be that one person that could just be there and say, "Hey, man, how can I help you? And how can we make this fun?"
Yeah, yeah. How can we make this fun and worth it? And I think Arnold said it right. Like it is a lifestyle, and no matter where you are in this fitness journey, whether you love working out or you hate it, like it's something that you're going to have to face as you get older. Because if you're not doing anything, it's quite possible that you can do that for the rest of your life and you don't run into any, bone issues, any osteoporosis issues or anything like that. But we all know scientifically that even working out a few times a week, consistently for a long period of time will yield healthy results. So
Absolutely.
I think that's where it's important. That's where it lands. Um, one story that I have is when I was running business in Warren. I had a client named Miriam come in, a wonderful woman, and she was in her late 80s, 87, I believe. I met her when she was 86, and we had 3 wonderful years, 3 summers. And she would come in and she wanted to do mobility and she wanted to do soft tissue work. So we did soft tissue work and table stretching. And then we go in and we do mobility and we were doing stuff so well. She got so strong that we were deadlifting. She was doing single leg squats on TRX.
Nice.
She became a monster. And one of the most powerful things that she shared with me was that she was a Holocaust survivor.
Wow.
And she shared with me some stories. She worked for the VA. So she was working for veterans and being a psychologist for veterans. She was the kindest woman I met, with the craziest stories. And she did a video for me. She said she'd help me out. She did one of my first promo videos on YouTube for Fitness Essentials. Go ahead, check it
Wow.
out. And I really appreciated the wisdom and the kindness that she shared. And she was excited to come to the gym. She was excited to work out. She was excited for the company and the conversation as well, to get out the house and come and like do something that's going to be sustainable and strong. And she saw improvement, you know. Um, it was an amazing run. And I was so grateful to have her in my life. And the reason why I call myself a fitness life coach is because I work with populations like that often, and you get to see them in their final, years of life. And
Yeah.
your whole point, your whole goal, I think, a part of it is to make that part of their life the most comfortable for their physical body as possible. I'm not working on the mental health stuff. I'm working on motivation, self confidence, and the ability to feel like you can get up off the floor. You're not going to fall and break your hip. Things that seniors now worry about that they never worried about in their 20s and 30s and 40s because they were paying bills and raising kids and doing all the things. And
Right.
I think that population, since so many generations removed, um, they fought the world wars, they are the
Yeah.
Holocaust survivors. uh, they deserve a level of care. Before
Absolutely.
before COVID, my company was going around to the senior citizen homes with collectible the teddy bears we collected from our community, and
Wow.
us, me and our members would go. And on Christmas, we did this whole thing where we gave teddy bears to every senior, even in the dementia ward. Some didn't want it there, but we still went up there and gave it. And then on Valentine's Day, we worked with one of my local churches, and all the kids at the churches wrote wonderful Valentine's Day cards for the seniors. And then
Awesome.
we went down to the senior citizens home and gave it out. And that was right before COVID hit, and everyone couldn't go visit them anymore. It was wild to be in that. That was the direction we were going with community service. There's a lot of things for children, and I think it's important, and there needs to be even more because there's a lot of missing gaps for children. But there's also a need to take care of our seniors and show them love and recognize that we wouldn't be here without them, without their sacrifices, without their hard work. And so when I coach seniors, that's also on my mind, where they've gone, what they've done, the ceilings that they've broke so that my sister could be, a huge earner, and my wife can be a huge earner, and my mother and my father, and myself can do things that may not have been possible for them if they didn't fight for it. And so that's
Absolutely.
what I recognize when I train my seniors. It's not just, what they've done in their health history. It's also the respect that comes with them having the experience and living a life and living through some hard times, and still valuing me younger, knowing that I have knowledge and I'm a good, solid coach, and them trusting me with their bodies, so that I can take them through a series of movements that will help them feel strong. That's powerful for me.
That's
And
awesome, man. And with that, man, I just so my last thing I want to say is really, really just listen to feedback. I mean, listen to what they're saying, make sure you're asking the right questions,
yeah,
and just get feedback. I mean, I've been in this fitness industry for 15 years, and just in general, I've literally gone into gyms and watched trainers that were just freaking just awful. Let's just put it that way. They're just awful. They don't really listen to feedback. Um, they're training their clients with very poor um, posture and form, and and when you translate that into people that are older, it's detriment. It's not good. It's not a good thing for them to do. So be a good first and foremost. What I want to leave everyone here on Mobility Bros is just especially if you're a fitness professional, be a good human. Be a good human to other humans. Especially when you're working with your elderly community. You're going to have to give them additional care. and just be aware of that. You can't train them as if someone that's in their 20s, 30s, and even their 40s. I mean, 50s too. You know, I mean, you have people. I mean, you do have people in their 50s that are fairly fit, and then you have people in their 50s that are just completely out of shape, and you know, it's vice versa. They look old, you know. So, but so yeah, that's what I leave. You know, just listen to feedback, be a good human, and just really give great care.
So if anything on this channel has helped you, like guided you as a professional or practitioner, or even a client, a member, please write down in the comments what you've gotten from this. We want to hear from you. So,
Absolutely.
have
Comment.
you trained seniors? Are you training seniors currently? Have you had a question about how old can you train someone? Are you a senior looking for training and have questions like, what should I be doing? How do I work better stability? What is stability? What does that mean? If you have any of those questions, write them down in the comments. Me and Ron checks them periodically. We want to know what's going on with you guys in the community and how our content is landing on you. It helps us out tremendously. So feel free to write things down in the comments. Thank you so much for being on the Mobility Bros. Ron, why don't you take us out?
All right, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. And I want you to stay awesome, keep spreading greatness, and be legendary. Take care for now, and we'll see you next week.
Take care. See you next Monday.